Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best.
Hello, this is David Russell, and we're back. We're talking about managing client expectations on remote service calls. And we're going to move into lesson 3, the client's perspectives. This is important. We talked about standards. We talked about how to communicate. Well, let's talk about the client's perspective. For them, they've tried several things and nothing's worked, and they've got some deadlines they've got to deal with. They probably want to avoid blame, which is common. And their technology failure may be messing up the schedules and deadlines and responsibilities of other people also. These are all things they'll probably discuss with you. The last bullet, they probably won't. But we need to always remember this, that they may have other professional or personal issues that are compounding the stress. So they're in a bad situation. We want to remind ourselves what it's like to be a beginner, someone who just doesn't know and may never know. It may not be their thing to really understand technology. It's kind of like a parent-child relationship that we're entering into in some ways because we know what to do and they don't. And we're going to try to walk them through their issue to get to a solution. But we need to remember that as the authority, our words and our tone of voice can wound. And if we wound them, then the situation is going to get worse. So we have to be a role model for great behavior. They may not pay attention to their system's warning messages. They may not really understand them. But hey, the bottom line is they're doing their best. Their best may not be very good technology-wise, but they're doing their best. So cut them some slack. They don't understand acronyms, so we need to be careful of the words that we use. Something that's obvious to us may not be to them. They may not understand the mistakes they made. They may struggle to describe their problem. Maybe in the end, they can learn to do some things themselves. Not sure. But the bottom line is they just don't know. Otherwise, they wouldn't call us, right? So we have to keep our perspective. They may be angry. We don't have to be. I have a client of mine that took this training, and basically, if you've got an angry client, then not me, I didn't have an angry client, but he had an angry customer, calling, and sometimes it would be very difficult for him. They would push his buttons, he would get angry, and I taught him, if they start to get you angry, just take a break. So, explain that, you need to investigate and get back to them, say whatever is appropriate and respectful and empathetic, get off the phone, breathe. Deep breathing is a great way to calm down. Okay, don't vent. Venting increases the anger that you have, type of thing. Venting is not a successful strategy. I talk about that more in the workplace drama training. But you don't have to be angry. So get off the phone, calm down. If you need to, get back to it. The issues, these are not life-threatening issues. They're just frustrating. What I do in my leadership training a lot is I encourage people to use a good cop, bad cop negotiating strategy, even though you're not negotiating. So the good cop, bad cop negotiating strategy is basically that two policemen or women, two police people, law enforcement professionals, have arrested somebody and they want to get that person to talk. Well, the person doesn't want to talk. So there is one cop that takes the bad cop position. This is the person that is the authority figure. Hey, if you don't do what I say I'm going to do, I'm going to break your kneecaps. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. They come down on the person, coming down, threatening. We don't want to do that. So we want to be the good cop, the person that comes alongside the person says, hey, you better work with me or else my buddy here is going to break your kneecaps. And, let's work this out. It'll work better for you. Everything will be fine. Reassure them, build trust. That's the good cop. We come alongside. We don't come down. We come alongside. The bad cop for us is the technology. The software's got a problem. The virus is a problem. The computer system's a problem. the way they designed this could have been better, whatever. That's the bad cop, not us. We want to reassure them that their problem will be resolved and set conservative, realistic expectations because we have to come through. Remember, we're going to be building trust with them. So let me give you 4 steps as far as working with clients of different perspectives. First thing is when bad things happen, we want to stay calm. We want to respond, not react. A reaction is something you do without thinking. A response is something you do after considering information and estimating outcomes. We want to rely on our processes. In everything that we do, every word that we speak, every email or text that we send, every action we take, we want to build trust by confirming the issues and solving problems. Now, within a certain amount of time, we may get stuck on something, we need to escalate for help. Okay, that will build trust that we know when to escalate. But that's what we're doing. Remember, bad things happen. This person's in a bad way. We want to build trust and help them understand that their problem can be resolved. So step number 2 is we're going to confirm what are the issues? What do they want to get done? If they can show it to you, that's wonderful. Sometimes they can't. Then as we work through this, we're going to clarify all of the objectives in order of priority or the sequence we're going to take to resolve things. Because, as you know, with technology, we have to go through step 1 to go to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 to step 5 type of thing. And we're going to work through their problem in stages to ultimately get to a solution. Now, when we're communicating about our work, we talked about this in the last lesson, but if appropriate, we're going to email the planned stages of work. This may be so quick, we may not have to, but sometimes we're going to get off the phone, get off the online meeting, get off the support call where we're on their system. We're going to do some work and come back. So we may email the planned stages. That's just a bulleted list. Don't get into a lot of detail. The hard deadline is the first stage. We complete the first stage, we update them, and then we go to the next stage. The rest of the stages, we can be a little more general in time for completion. As we talked about in the communication lesson, lesson 2, you need to understand how they prefer that you communicate with them and how often they want you to communicate with them. Some people want you to update them step by step. Other people just let me know when it's all done. Find out what their preference is. Understand, are they a high D, somebody with a sense of urgency, dominance, okay? High I, which is the influencing, that's an extrovert. Are they going to want to talk to you more often? The high S, skeptic. Do you need to really, give them a step-by-step so they have trust that you're making progress? And the high C, they may want a lot of detail. So understand those and how often they want to be updated. And by the way, don't assume, ask, and can discuss and confirm. And then follow through as frequently as promised. And of course, you're documenting your time and your work as you go in your PSA. That's step number 3. Now, number 4, there may be certain situations where there's a small thing you can help them learn. But throughout this entire process, we are focused mostly on solutions, not problems. So keep this in mind when we're helping them learn. If they make mistakes, try to avoid negatives like no or that's wrong. Use softer words, those type, things to transition to more of a solution. Try to keep it simple. Show them what to do. Make it visual and explain why they do what you're recommending, why they should do it, okay? Try not to say anything they don't understand. Kind of confirm as you go and ask open-ended questions. So this is some tips, some key tips on how to work with clients based on their perspectives. Now, if there's a facilitator in the group leading this discussion with you, maybe you've got some examples that have happened in your organization recently, or the people in the group can discuss some examples, or if you're working alone, you can do your own. But I would work through these 5 questions. Think about these things moving forward. Is there anything you could change? Is there one thing you could change now to improve? And if you need to review the deck, do that. Listen to this again, do that. But when you're done with lesson 3, please take the exam. and pass the exam, and then move on to lesson 4.